Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're back in AFK Journey. In today's video I wanted to make a little Supreme Arena guide because we've managed to finish in the top 50 for all the days this week so far. And honestly, my account is not too strong, but there are some key things you want to do in this mode because you're building multiple teams. It's not just your one single most powerful team. And it's also important which position you put each team in. Okay, so here we have the rewards for the top 50. I don't know if I'll be able to hold this long term because normally in my own server I'm like rank 12 to 15, and so you're competing with 4 other servers, so that's in total 5 basically of your own. And so like if you're in the top 15, usually in your 5 servers you're going to then be top 75 or so. But we can also look at my logs because quite a lot of people have attacked me and they've all failed, which is really good for us. So the most important thing is on team number 2, you want to put your crowd control heroes. So if you have Arene, especially if they're Mythic Plus, this is the place you want to put them because you have the Raging Duel effect only on the second one. The other ones don't have this. And whenever a unit inflicts control effects, their side's rage increases and it will trigger once every 1 second per unit. So if you have multiple units all with crowd control, especially Caroline as well has some crowd control, then you will get to the battle fervor state faster. And if you reach battle fervor before the opponent and you even have a similar level of power in your team, you're going to win the match because you get such a big buff here that they get damage dealt buff and damage reduction, haste. It's insane. The other thing you want to do is use the confining spell because confining spell will prison the backline 2 heroes on the opponent team. I'm not sure if this counts as a bonus for Raging Duel because it says here a unit has to inflict the control effect, but if you're imprisoning the back line, those 2 heroes will not be able to control you if they have a control effect in them. So I like confining spell here. And this is basically my overall strongest team. It is my Iron Nuke team, which I use to push AFK stages. Better than this would be if you had, for example, if you had Haywin and Granny. If you have Haywin and Granny Mythic Plus or above, then you can use them here. If they're not Mythic Plus, I don't know if it's a good idea to be using them. I have them like for example at Legendary, and then you can run a full Wilder team because Granny also has crowd control in her kit. If you're full 5 Wilders, you get the 22% bonus stats. You have the heal from Haywin. It's a very strong and viable team. A lot of people who have like a well-built Granny and Haywin go for a full 5 Wilder team with Granny, Haywin, and then these 3 other Wilders, Arene, and Damien. But for me, I'm just trying to use my overall strongest team, and it is Caroline and Thorin. Because if you can use that Wilder team here, then it would free up your Caroline and Thorin to use in another team, which will allow you to then win on the other team. So eventually, hopefully I can get them to Mythic Plus, and then I will go for that option, and then switch Thorin and Caroline to another team to make them stronger. Now for your other 2 teams, I don't have like another like amazingly strong team. So instead I've opted for 2 kind of mediocre teams. They're nothing too amazing in either of them, but they're both kind of good. They both can get a win if the opponent plays a really weak team against them. So because you need to win 2 out of 3 in order to win the match. And so my first team is just a full 5 Mauler team, and in the early stages before you have many heroes built up, you're going to want to go for like the monotype teams because you get the stat bonuses and you don't have other good options to really be running. And then this other team is it just has 3 Graveborn, 2 Lightbearer. It's just the heroes who I also have built up and highly ascended. You want to have highly ascended heroes here. But if, for example, like let's say you look at this team here. Let's say you had Granny and Haywin at Mythic Plus, and you could run this 5 Wilder team here within the Raging Duel. That is going to be a really solid team. It's difficult for opponents to beat. They would basically have to just have higher ascended, high upgraded of the same team. Then you could free up Caroline and Thorin, run in another team, and then maybe I could do like a full 5 Graveborn team. People do use that, or like 4 Graveborn plus Rowan is good. And then you would have 2 really strong teams, which is kind of like them creates an impenetrable defense But you can also go for this option if you don't have a second really strong team, have two kind of mediocre teams. So I like the Mauler team because you're going to be having, like, you're probably going to have a highly invested Smokey, OD as well because he's important for Dream Realm. And Coco, a lot of people are also putting on their wish list because she's really helpful when you can't survive in the Dream Realm boss. Like, for example, all of these boss fights I've had up until now in the new season, we're almost always using Coco. So you're going to have a pretty decently level up Coco. And then Shakira, I personally went for, and I do believe he is one of the best Mauler heroes. He isn't like the top, like the best heroes, so like maybe not on your epic wishes, but for Mauler faction, Smokey and Shakira are the two which you want to be putting there until they're basically Supreme Plus. Because he has a very interesting, useful buff that he will buff surrounding allies in a 2-tile radius once he's in his wolf form with a damage reduction, haste, and even attack buff if he's at plus 10 exclusive equipment. But you don't have to get him to plus 10 to make this team effective. Even at plus 5, he's really good. And that's where I would stop with him. I wouldn't take him to plus 10 because you need to save that for your other heroes, but especially the Dream Realm damage dealers. But it can be a viable team, and having the mono faction is difficult. Like people, like for example, Mauler is weak to Lightbearer. There aren't super strong Lightbearer teams. I guess Vala, Rowan, Lucius type teams could be, and like if they run that here on their first team, they probably will beat our Mauler team, but then they have limited options to deal with our remaining teams. And this one is also a pretty decent team. You have a tank damage dealer. Sylvina is really good in PvP, even if you don't know where she's jumping. Like on defense, she's not as good because people can like put a tank to tank out the Sylvina, but on offense, she's amazing, and even on defense, she's a threat. Like she's difficult to deal with. And then the Cecia Rowan combo, you're going to have a highly ascended Cecia. And Temesia, because she's useful in Dream Realm, that's why I have her all the way to Supreme Plus. And eventually you will probably have her Mythic Plus. And she's very good. She's decent on PvP as well. She can interrupt. She is pretty tanky. She deals a pretty good amount of damage as well. And Viperion and Sylvina were the two heroes I had on my wish list the whole time. I never bought them from the Dream Realm shop or anything. I got unlucky because I got a lot of them summoned rather than my Dream Realm heroes, but in the end it is going to be helpful to have them both at Supreme Plus. As for the battle artifact, so I really like this evocation spell because it provides a buff, one of 4 buffs, and over time I think all 4 buffs are going to be applied to your team. And their useful buffs is like lifesteal, there's haste. Haste is a very effective buff. And then also you have the attack and crit, so it can allow like OD to deal more damage, even Shakir. As far as positioning goes, I don't really focus on that too much. What you could try to do is like maybe put Coco over here so she can begin attacking immediately, because when she's over here, she has kind of a low range compared to OD, like usually can attack across the map. Coco only has a 4 range, so you would have to wait for someone to come up and begin attacking, so she might delay, like that might delay it too long. You could put Coco here, but I don't really go so much into depth about the perfect positioning. I think this is pretty much fine as well. And yeah, so that's basically the thing. Put your crowd control units on this team, ideally a team of 5 Wilders or this Iron Nuke team with Thorn and Carolina. This team will probably never lose for me because it's my most invested team, but then you need the other teams, or at least one of them, to win. So if we look at my defense logs, let's see how they've been doing. I'm pretty sure the middle team would have never lost because that's the way that I guarantee the win. So here we had, okay, all 3 of our teams won here. And I guess it's also because I have spent some, so like it's, if you don't have this many ascended heroes, it is going to be more difficult for you. But all these people have also spent, so we're kind of competing on even terms. And so like even if you can't do this in the top 50, maybe you can get this win rate in the top 100, or not top 100, get in the top 200, because these rewards are really important, especially getting the arena coins, because that will allow you to get more heroes faster. These Twilight Essences are not so important, so really it's just for the arena coins you're doing this. Yeah, and so let's go back here. After that we had this, we also got 3 wins here. Other people were trying to run like a Graveborn team in here, so the Mauler team is not very strong, but it can win. Like really the only way I think it would lose is like if someone brings a strong Vala or their Iron Nuke team into the front. It's possible. And let's see the next one. We also won on all 3. Okay, so actually, I guess even our other 2 mediocre teams are doing pretty well. Okay, here's a team. Yeah, so we brought Vala and he destroyed our Mauler team. And that's what, like, I think the main way we would lose. Our second team, he went for the 5 Wilder team, but he didn't have Granny. Florabelle is also a good option here. Yeah, if you have Florabelle, Supreme Plus, I forgot to mention that. She is one of the best options for this second team because she has crowd control as well. But I would definitely be running Granny here. He doesn't have Granny as a tank, so that's a bit of the weakness. And then our final team is decently strong. The Sylvina, Cecia, Rowan combo to get the ultimate. Viperion does a decent... Look at that Viperion damage. Like, Cecia did nothing this fight, but Temesia, Viperion, and Sylvina carried it. And those are A-level heroes, other than Temesia's not A-level, but... Yeah, and then this one we got... So he won with the Vala. Yeah, so Vala is the way you would win to the front team. But then, usually if people have Vala, then they would have invested a lot in Vala. So if we use up the Vala on the first team, then the other 2 teams have a better chance of winning. They're not able to... Okay, so here he used Vala on the last team. He beat our last team, but then he didn't have Vala for the first team, so we won. So that's kind of thing. I mean, we are on the borderline. We could easily, like, be pushed into top 100, and even that I would be fine with. I think that... Like I said, because we're in the top like 15, even on a good day for my own server, being top 75 or top 100 is where I actually belong. Top 50, it's been amazing that we've been able to hold it, but I think probably in the future it will be affected. Now, the other thing that is really important is that your hero level really matters, because so level 140 is the main thing you want to shoot for, because that's when the level start increasing even slower. So once you get to level 140, everyone will be set at level 140, and then each additional 5 levels on top of 140 will give the hero 2 levels in the Supreme Arena. I think that's how it works. So it might be on the first level. Yeah, I think so, because if you look at the team here, my level is 150, but my OD is 151. And my OD right now is level 200. So I think what happens is that the cutoff is the first level. So for example, level 141 is going to give your team level 141. Level 146 is going to give your team level 142. Then 151 is going to give 143. So it's every 5 levels gives you 1 level after level 140. But I think it gets counted from the first level, 141. Because that's even how it was in our arena. Like, it's not once you get to resonating level 310 that you get the bonus. It's 311. So it's like that level after the 10. If you understand. So right now my Thorin is resonating level 200. So in here he's going to be 151. Once he gets to 201, I think he'll be 152. But anyway, the important thing is to get everyone to level 151. That's going to be your next breakpoint, because at level 151 they unlock the new Supreme, or the new season ability, which is the final ability in their slot. Like if we look at, for example, Shakir here, the final ability here is a season 1, and this is going to unlock on level 151. So level 151 is going to be a major breakthrough in power for all of your team. And also, whenever you go to the first level of stats after 150 or after the 10, you get a stat bonus, like a high stat bonus compared to the other levels you were getting. So level 151 will be a breakpoint. For that, you'll need level 196 on all of your heroes. Or basically resonating level 200 on everyone would give you that level 151. So that's, hopefully we should be able to do that today. We need to do still all of our daily quests, our instant AFK refreshes, and maybe push in the legend trials a bit, try to get them all up to level 200 so that we have that level 151 in the Supreme Arena, which is important. So yeah, but I mean, if you're going to compete at the highest level Supreme Arena, it would be only those who purchase the Noble, like the Noble Path, and also the 20 boosted, because otherwise you're going to be behind on levels. But you can still compete in your bracket. Like, for example, even without spending, I don't know where it would stop, but probably maybe top 500 is possible, or top 1000. And the rewards are not too different. Like, even every tier only gives you a bonus 60 arena coins, and these are not amplified by the Mystic collection. I thought the Mystic, is it Mystic or Mythic? Either way, that collection bonus gives you a bonus on the arena coins earned from your server arena, your non-seasonal arena. But from the Supreme Arena, it's going to be exactly what it is here. So 660 or 600 or 560. Yeah, so top 200, 560 is a pretty good cutoff point. Otherwise, just as high as you can get. And just those extra arena coins are going to help you. So that's basically what I wanted to talk about in this video. I don't think there's much more to explain. Like, maybe we can talk about the wish list, because, and this is what I'm doing. I think on your epic recruitment, and I wanted to do this earlier as well, Iron, Carolina, and Thorn should always be here, even when they're Supreme Plus. Because once they're Supreme Plus, you're gonna want to get them to Paragon, because in PvP, Paragon will matter. And so on my epic hero recruitment now, I'm only putting heroes which are not purchasable in the shop, and also viable in PvP. So Vala, Florbell fit that description. Apart from them, Shakir is also an option. He's not available. Temesia, before she was Supreme Plus, I put her here. But yeah, you want to have heroes here which are not purchasable in the shop, because they're going to be the ones which are difficult for you to get to Supreme Plus. Then at Supreme Plus, you can stop with them unless they're the really strong heroes like Thorin, Caroline, and Iron. But that is basically what I did. Sylvina, we're also keeping here because she's a key PvP hero. Getting her to Paragon is going to be helpful. And you need 25 heroes at Supreme Plus, but with all of your A-level heroes, and maybe even more than 8 A-level heroes, like let's say 10 or 11, 12 A-level heroes, then you only need 13 S-level heroes, and you're going to get 13 S-level heroes for Supreme Plus. Also with the Arena shop we have here, you can get all of these to Supreme Plus, but really the ones you want to focus on are Cecia, Granny, Rowan. Those are the important ones. Brutus can be good for like the Mauler team. Haven is more important than Brutus. Cassidy is more important for the Dream Realm. And then Igor. So that's already going to be for 7 heroes that you'll want to get to Supreme Plus. And then you have your other ones: Iron, Carolina, Thorin, Vala, Florabelle, Temesia, Shakir, Smokey. You have all this. So you're going to have more than like 13, definitely more than 13 S-level heroes to Supreme Plus. So then you don't need to, like, for example, now, like, even though Sylvina's maxed, I could replace her for like Salazar, but I don't want to ever use Salazar, so it's better to just begin getting her copies so that you can get her to Paragon 1 as soon as you have all of your Supreme Plus heroes. I'm not doing that for Merrily and Corrin because Paragon is only for PvP bonuses. Like, it gives a 2.5% stat bonus, which is meaningless. Like, in the grand scheme of things, that doesn't affect like your Dream Realm damage deals, Merrily and Corrin. So eventually you will want to get them to Paragon, but that's not the priority. The heroes you want to keep on here are for Paragon are going to be the heroes which are the PvP heroes. Like Arden and Damien also we will keep on here because they are PvP heroes. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you have any other ideas for guides in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. As for the Durus trials, yeah, I was way too optimistic to think we could make it to AFK stage 345 even yesterday. And 395 is not going to be possible for me. I will go for 345. I think that is going to be doable once we hit level 200. And then we're going to try to clear floor 2 on all of these different treasures. And decide. Probably I'm going to use the sweeps on the ranger ones because we have a lot of... Wait. I'm looking at the buff tiers, but we have a lot of rangers we want. Like, you want to use it on a stage where you have a lot of heroes. But like, for example, OD, Merrily, even just OD and Merrily alone, CC as well, but OD and Merrily, because they're your Dream Realm damage deals, you want to give them as many bonuses as possible, so I am going to go for this on stage 2. And the potential loot is the only thing which you will drop when you sweep, which is going to be 8 of these charm chests, and at a higher difficulty level, you're going to have a higher drop chance of the elites, or the higher quality ones rather than the blue ones. And once you have elites, then you can apply the set effect. But anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. That's gonna be it for this one, and until the next one, everyone, peace out for now.